What is up, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new Just Sayin podcast episode 19. I'm Jairus, and as always, I'm joined by...
Shea butter.
That's right. And we have an action-packed episode for you today. We're going to be going over the NHL trade deadline, the playoff picture. There's a lot of teams in the running for their final playoff spots. It's the middle of March. We're getting down to the wire of basketball. We got March Madness going on. It is a great time to be a sports fan today. But after the NHL, we're going to move on to some NFL news and talk about a certain team that finally paid its players.
Finally did something.
Yeah, anything. And then we're going to finish off with NASCAR, baseball, and we're going to recap the newest Marvel show, Daredevil Born Again.
Oh, shit. Yeah, you heard it here first. We have a great episode for you today. And let's dive right in. But first, make sure you follow all our socials, Facebook, Instagram. That's pretty much it. Subscribe to YouTube to get this show a day early. Watch our new videos. Hint, hint. New video coming out soon. What?
That's right. We'll begin all of that in the podcast. But yeah, thank you guys for the support lately. We've been seeing an uptick in views on the videos and interactions on our social medias. So if you haven't gotten in on all the action going on over there, like Shay said, make sure to subscribe, comment, like, share with all your friends. We really appreciate each and every one of you that does so.
Exactly. Leave some comments because we want to talk to you, our listeners, our fans. We want to know why we're wrong about everything. That's just it.
That's right.
We want to know.
That's right. So, getting right into it, we're going to kick things off with the NHL. What a crazy season it has been. There is only about 16, 17 games left in the regular season. It has just flown by. A couple weeks ago, the NHL trade deadline came and went. We saw some teams that are all in for that elusive Stanley Cup. Some say one of the hardest trophies to win in all of sports.
I don't know if it's the hardest, in my opinion, but I definitely think it's the best looking, for sure.
That's right. But we also had some teams that maybe were in the running, but they've fallen off lately, and they decided to punt on the season, sell off some of their key players for draft picks and prospects. Excuse me. And some teams that didn't do much of anything. And hint, hint, there were quite a few teams because with just the market in general, the guys that were available, it was a seller's market. We saw a lot of overpayments on some guys. So, yeah, it has been wild. Overpays, like I said, on a lot of guys. But we're going to kick things off talking about our teams, starting off with the Tampa Bay Lightning.
The Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, this trade deadline, I feel like was kind of a mixed bag, right? There were definitely big trades that happened, and some teams did, buy or sell a lot. But like you said, there was also a lot of teams that didn't really do anything. So it was kind of a mixture of things going on, which made it, I would say, maybe a little more exciting.
Yeah, very interesting for sure. And we're going to get all into that because there's a lot to unpack here. But starting off with my Lightning, we all know the position that they're in. The beginning of the season, during the offseason, they let go longtime captain Steven Stamkos. He signs with Nashville, and spoiler alert, the Nashville Predators have been a disaster. And Stamkos' play has really fallen off, which I did not expect it to fall off that much, if I'm being honest.
No.
But this was it. We were at a crossroads, and we know the next 3 to 4 years, this is probably going to be some of our best chances to win that final Stanley Cup with this core. So what does our GM, Julian Brisebois, go and do? He makes a splash.
Splish splash. I'm taking a bath.
Yeah, big splash here. Swings for the fences. Little deal with the Seattle Kraken. Let's get right into it. Center, Yanni Gord from the Kraken with 50% retained. Right wing, Oliver Bjorkstrand, a 2026 fifth. And defensive prospect Kyle Aucoin goes to the Lightning in exchange for 2 first-round picks in 2026 and 2027, a 2025 second, which is Toronto's pick, and right winger Mikey Eyssimont go to Seattle. And a third team got involved with the Detroit Red Wings. They receive a conditional 2025 fourth round pick from Tampa for retaining an extra 25% on Yanni Gord. So to sum it all up, the Lightning get Yanni Gord at 75% retained, a little bit over 1 million, I think 1.3 or 1.4 million.
Which for the basic listeners, 75% retained means the Lightning are paying 75% of his current contract, correct?
No, they're only paying 25%. So,
Okay,
so the retention is
I'm glad I clarified
75% from the Kraken and the Wings.
So you're only paying
that's on their
25%.
books.
Yeah.
And and Oliver Bjorkstrand is also signed through next season, so he is not a rental. He will be with us for next season as well at a cap hit of like 5.4 million. This is a huge trade. It does make me a little bit nervous because we have traded so many prospects and first round draft picks throughout the years. As we all know, they won back-to-back Stanley Cups in 2020 and 2021. So our prospect pool is not looking great. It's probably bottom 10 in the league. Our bank of draft picks, we don't have a first round pick now until 2028.
How minus the draft picks, just the players alone, how do you feel as a Lightning fan with the players you received?
Well, Yanni Gord is familiar with the organization. He won with us our back-to-back Stanley Cups.
What?
Is a huge playoff performer, proven, can score those clutch goals when you need them. Excellent bottom six forward, third line center, one of the best third line centers in the league. Forechecks the heck out of players. He is definitely a player with his experience that you would want to make a run for the Stanley Cup. So I'm very happy. It's the homecoming of Yanni Gord. Can't ask for a better story than that. And Oliver Bjorkstrand is a good top six winger. We had pretty much our entire top six set, but that last wiener spot was like a revolving door, right? So Oliver Bjorkstrand solidifies that. So we get depth down the middle. We get depth in our bottom six, which we needed. And we also get that top six wiener spot pretty locked in.
And it's very beneficial towards your cap.
Yeah. Getting Yanni Gord at 75% retained, it really helps our cap situation. Right now, we're right up against the cap.
Yeah.
Didn't have any more money or, Brisebois didn't feel like he needed to make any more moves. The only thing that concerns me about the Lightning now is the defensive depth. But, we'll see. As long as everyone can stay healthy, that shouldn't be a problem. Ever since January, beginning of February, we've been one of the best teams in the league. So we've been quite the heater. So, I think this is a good move. I would say a little bit of an overpay, but considering some of the other deals that were made, I'm pretty okay with it.
Is this signaling to you you're going all in right now, the Lightning?
Yeah.
Win now mode?
Oh, yeah. We're still in win now mode. Brisebois said in the press conference, I'd rather have a roster full of good players than a boatload of draft picks.
Yeah.
Which I think that's the right message to send to guys like Kucherov and Point and Gensel. We've really went for it this year, and I'm really excited. I think we have a good shot at coming out of the Eastern Conference, but it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that's what the Lightning did. Right now in the standings, they currently hold the third place spot in the Atlantic, so they have a top 3 spot at a record of 39, 23, and 5 for 83 points, and they're 6, 3, and 1 in their last 10. And as we go through these, I'll be doing a standings update as well, and we'll be discussing the race for those final playoff spots.
Yep.
All right, Shay, it is time. Is this the end of the Boston Bruins?
I hope so.
All right, let's get into it. The Boston Bruins had a fire sale.
Yep.
Complete fire sale. Sold everyone off. Everyone get out of here. You're gone. You're gone. You're gone. You're gone.
Except Pasta.
Except for Pasta. But you need Pasta. Because he is the engine of your offense.
Exactly.
Let's just be honest. So among the moves that the Bruins made, they traded Charlie Coyle, Brandon Carlo, Trent Frederick, Max Jones, Justin Brazeau, all to different teams, all to contenders, and a lot of them actually to division rivals.
Yeah.
Which,
that's right.
If they miss the playoffs, they don't have to worry about it. But if they actually do end up making it and playing one of those teams in the first round, oh boy, that'd be something. With the trades they made, though, I think they did pretty well. If I were to give them a grade, I'd give them a B minus. They got a lot of prospects back and draft picks, especially centers, which they desperately need.
Correct.
They desperately need help down the middle. So, among the players they got Casey Middlestat, who was from Colorado, who's had a down year with them, but I think could bounce back. And they get young prospect Fraser Midden, who's, like a B-level good center who's been playing in Toronto's bottom 6. So they did well there.
But that's not the big fish.
No. Because it came out, and this was like the last minute. We heard about this like the last part of the trade deadline with the stream that Elliot Friedman was doing. Captain Brad Marchand is no longer wearing the spoked B.
For the first time in his career.
I am not a Boston fan, and I've hated Marchand for almost his entire career. With that being said, it kind of hurts, not going to lie, to not see Marchand in Boston anymore. Not only is he not a Boston Bruin, but he was traded to the team that has knocked the Bruins out of the playoffs the last couple of years, including a 3-1 series comeback in 2023 when the Bruins had their record-setting season, and that is the Rat Pack themselves, the Florida Panthers.
Yeah.
What a fucking kick in the nutsack.
Yeah. Let's just continue through it, and then we'll get into my thoughts.
All right. It's okay. It's okay. This is now your therapy session because I had mine last week with the Bengals.
That's right. True.
All right. So the actual trade was Captain Brad Marchand goes to the Florida Panthers for only a conditional 2027 second-round pick. The condition is it can become a first-round pick if Florida makes the Eastern Conference Final and Marchand plays in half the games. The reason he was traded was because Sweeney and his camp could not come to an agreement on a new contract. Apparently it was a low ball offer, 3 years at like $3 million, which what an insult.
Yep.
What an insult.
Yep.
This is a guy that has been in Boston his entire career, was a huge part of your team all those years when they won the Cup. And, when Bergeron was still there, went to 2 more Stanley Cup finals, and you did that. And as a Lightning fan, this story sounds kind of familiar.
Yeah. Just my thoughts real quick with the Bruins. I am not happy at all. I think a lot of Bruins fans are also not happy. And I'd say some of the players were also pretty shocked and not happy. This is Sweeney covering his ass to not get fired, as we've been saying all year.
I really hope his ass gets canned.
Starting with Jim Montgomery. So now this just adds fuel to my fire to don't make the fucking playoffs. Like, screw it. Just burn to the ground. We screwed over Jim Montgomery, who did not deserve to get fired. We screwed over Marchand, reportedly giving him a low ball offer. Someone who became our captain and really matured to that captain role.
He did.
Really stepped up to the plate.
Up his game.
It's just unbelievable, honestly. And no, of course, like, I want nothing but the best for the players that are there, especially Pasternak, especially like Swayman and stuff. But I don't want to make the playoffs. Please, just don't fucking do it.
Yeah. I totally would understand your frustration. I was in your position. Yeah, just like, really, like, I could not believe it when I heard that Brad Marchand is now Florida Panther. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and like the condition to make it a first round pick is probably very achievable. I would say,
but only a conditional second round pick for a guy who's still producing at a top 6 level, is a leader.
Yep.
So
the only way that makes up for this season is if we won the Stanley Cup. But that is literally not going to happen. So
no.
Just don't make the playoffs, because then you're just going to make the situation worse for next year. Don't make the playoffs. Fuck it. It's over.
Yeah. After the low ball offer, to kind of throw more gasoline on the fire, it was reported that Marchand wanted to meet with Sweeney, and he said, you know what? Like, I'm willing to come down on my offer. He wanted around like $6 million, pretty much the same he was already making.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm willing to meet you in the middle if you're willing. And they just did not budge.
Nope.
So then Marchand was, or Sweeney was like, you're going to get traded, but we want to do right by you and, want to trade you to where you want to go. And Marchand, because Sweeney said, fuck you, Marchand said, well, fuck you, Sweeney. The only place I want to go is the Florida Panthers.
That's right.
This is the longtime captain. If he asked for, I don't know, $7 million for 3 years, I think you give that to him.
Yeah.
You got to do that. Plus, with so many younger guys coming in and turnover, you could use a leader like Marchand on that team to mentor the young guys, to provide the leadership.
Someone that's won a Stanley Cup, has been to 3 finals. You tell me.
Yeah, just such a head scratching move. Yeah, I cannot see if there, like, I already wanted Sweeney to get fired for years, and with this happening with Brad Marchand, if this doesn't get him fired, then Bruins fans go and like burn down the front office. Like,
yeah,
what are we doing?
If he's still around, there's just no hope. We're done.
The boys club. It doesn't sound like he's going anywhere either.
Nope.
They've hinted at, doing the retool, and sounds like Sweeney's going to be at the helm for basically as long as he wants.
Yippee.
Yeah, just crazy. So with Marchand and like last summer, even Stamkos, like, we lowballed him for sure. Is there like any more loyalty in the AHL? Like, these guys come in, they're drafted, they play with these teams almost their entire career, and it's like there's no reward, like no, thank you for your service. Like, we want you to be a Bolt for life. We want you to be a Bruin for life. And even guys like Vegas, or a team like Vegas, who had guys around since the beginning and dumped them off for nothing, like Fleury and Pacioretty. Are we seeing a transition now where teams are following the same model? Because it did work for Vegas. They won a Stanley Cup doing what they did.
Yeah, 100%. This has been going on across all of sports for a while now. The last 5 to 10 years, I would say, is when it's really started to happen more and more frequently. You just don't see players stay on one team in any sport for their entire career anymore. It's so rare. It's so rare. Uh, it's it sucks. Like personally, as someone in that old school way of thinking, like I would love to have the same guy be on our team their entire career. But at the end of the day, sure, it's a sport, it's a game, but at the end of the day, it's a business. And winning championships makes you the most money. So you're, as an owner and a front office, are going to do anything and everything to go win championships and make the most money.
But I think that's the weird thing with the Bruins, because like they're not in any position to win a championship. So why not keep a guy like Marchand around, like we said, to be a leader and mentor the guys that are coming in?
No, I agree, but clearly Sweeney and the front office think we need to go in a different direction.
Yeah. Obviously we don't know until next year like how it's going to work out.
Well, yeah.
So far with the Lightning, I'd say it was the right move.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry to say, like, I really wish Stamkos was here. But Nashville, like we said, has had a miserable season. Stamkos' plays dropped off. Gensel has really filled that role, especially 5-on-5, which was the biggest problem for us. Like, he has done everything that Stamkos has done.
Yeah.
And he's 4 years younger, and he's doing it better as of right now. So I think as time goes on, we're going to see more of these moves starting to be made.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like you said, the goal is to win a championship, and it is a business. And even though it hurts for fans, like to see longtime players and their favorite players go, that's just the reality.
Yeah, it's just a rare thing nowadays.
But with the Bruins, right now they're at a 500 record, 30-30-9 for 69 points. They right now are well out of a playoff spot.
Good.
4 points out, and that doesn't sound like a lot, but going towards the end of the season, that is a lot.
Yeah.
4 points, and they played 3 more games than the teams they're chasing. So it's very, very unlikely that Boston's going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, just how many games left? Like 2 weeks worth of games,
like
maybe?
13 games for them, and like 15, 16 games for everybody else.
Right, so another 2 or 3 weeks for the season.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're still in it, but it's not looking likely that they're going to make it.
Yeah, it's okay. Just phone it in. Let it go.
All right.
Let it go.
So those are our teams. So 2 franchises that were kind of heading in the same direction now seem that they're going in different directions.
That's right.
How a year can change things.
And let us know in the comments if you're a Lightning fan or a Bruins fan. Are you happy with the Lightning and their trade that they did and that they got rid of Stamkos last year? Do you agree with Jairus that, hey, it's actually worked out? Probably.
So far.
Probably. Do you agree with me that the Bruins should miss the playoffs because they suck and they screwed over Jim Montgomery and Brad Marchand? Let us know.
Yeah. But moving on to another notable team that we have to talk about, because this was the trade
in a city that
of the deadline
that I do not like.
The Dallas Stars and Jim Neal, GM, they're all in. All in.
Are they all in?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They traded for left wing Mikko Rantanen, which means that Mikko Rantanen, a top 10 probably consensus player in the NHL, was traded twice before the deadline.
pretty wild.
which is absolutely crazy. Traded again to Dallas after being traded from Colorado to Carolina. Carolina gets back young prospect Logan Stankoven, who is like NHL established. 2 firsts in 2026 and 2028, and 2 thirds in 2026 and 2027. This trade was contingent on Mikko Rantanen signing an extension with the Stars. So he did. He signed a 8-year, $96 million extension with a $12 million average annual value.
Sheesh.
So he got the bag.
He got paid, son.
That's right. Yeah, crazy, absolutely crazy. I think all in all 3 teams that were involved, I think did well actually. For Rantanen, it just was not a good fit in Carolina. Carolina head coach Rod Brindamore stated that Rantanen said he was never interested in re-signing with the club after the initial trade 6 weeks earlier. In 13 games played, Rantanen only had 2 goals and 6 points, which is well below his usual production.
Right, yeah.
And all the reports, like he said, she said, who said, Rantanen denies having said that. Apparently, reports were saying that he said, I will only play for 4 teams and you're not one of them. And he denies it. So we don't know. We don't know
Something's fishy.
what happened. Yeah. But like for the initial trade going from Colorado to Carolina, Rantanen was shocked, but Colorado didn't want to lose Rantanen for nothing in the offseason, which is understandable.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And, you know, they get back 2 real good NHLers and Martin Necas and Jack Drury and a couple picks. So I thought they did really well there. I don't blame Carolina for trading Rantanen or trading for Rantanen initially because they're trying to win the cup.
Yeah.
If you want to win the cup, you have to swing big. You have to swing for the fences. Unfortunately, though, sometimes you miss.
Sometimes it just doesn't work out. But they also go in exchange for to Dallas. I would say got a pretty good mix of draft picks back.
Yeah, 2 firsts, 2 thirds is not a slouch at all. Even though they're going to be probably late round picks because the Stars, you know, will make deep runs. Still, I mean, they could have kept him. They could have, you know, rolled the dice and risked losing him for nothing. That would have been a repeat of what they had with Jake Gensel last year.
Yeah, true.
And they just were not prepared to take that risk, like that big of a risk. So they decided, you know what? We're going to cut our losses. We're going to trade Rantanen again to the Stars, get good package back. And, you know, Logan Stankoven, he's no slouch. Like, he's an established NHLer coming off of almost a full season. And he's produced very well, played in Dallas's top 6, and I think will fit really well in Brindamore's system.
Well, Carolina, though, has got to be thinking, you know what, we're done this year. They're not like done like the Bruins, but there's just not as much hope after having to get rid of Rantanen. But again, they got the draft capital back to, of course, draft some prospects, but maybe they could bundle those together to make a trade to go up in the draft or get some other players too. You know, you never know.
Yeah, I was surprised that they didn't use the first to go get somebody else before the trade deadline ended. But apparently the reports say they just like ran out of time because they were just so, you know, embroiled in the situation with Dallas that by the time they got it done, they just ran out of time to make another trade. Initially, like, I was kind of upset that they traded Rantanen because I thought they were kind of just, you know, kicking the can on the season and being like, well, like, it's not going to work out for us this year. I still feel that way to a certain extent, but then looking at what they got back, I would say, like I said, they didn't do that bad.
Right.
You know, I don't think they regret making the decision. GM Eric Tulsky said he doesn't regret trading for Rantanen, and I don't think he should.
No, you took a shot to try and help your team go win a cup, and just didn't work out.
Yeah. Now, all in all, though, if you look at it from the last 2 seasons, because they made the biggest trades with the Gensel trade last year and the Rantanen trade this year, in total, they traded 3 NHL level players, 3 prospects, a first, a second, a fourth, and a fifth round pick for 13 regular season games of Mikko Rantanen, 17 games of Jake Gensel in the regular season, and 11 playoff games. And in exchange, they also got back Logan Stakeoven, 2 firsts and 2 thirds.
Yeah.
So that's kind of crazy. That's
been
a lot of players and picks to trade.
It's been a wild year or two for the Hurricanes.
Yeah. And they're still they're not a bad team still.
No.
Shortly after the trade deadline, I believe they went on a 6-game winning streak. Yeah, they're still on a 7-game winning streak right now.
Yeah.
So they're not giving up.
No.
They're still going to make the playoffs. And I think, I don't see them as maybe coming out of the Eastern Conference or anything, but I could see them maybe, reaching the second round or the conference final. But I think they'll make some moves in the offseason to kind of, ratify, losing Rantanen.
Yeah, I think so.
But really, I mean, this begs the question because I thought it was kind of interesting how Gensel didn't want to stay. He goes and signs with Tampa, and Rantanen didn't want to stay. Is Carolina is it a destination problem? Is it not an attractive destination? And did Carolina give up on the season? We kind of already answered that. I don't think they did.
Yeah.
But yeah, is Carolina a problem for attracting free agents?
Yeah, I don't know if the destination itself is an issue. I'd say people always talk about this for going, to other teams. The weather isn't really an issue, even though I don't think the weather matters too much. But the weather's not that big of an issue in the Carolinas. It does get cold in the winter, but not as cold as up north. I would say if it is an issue and it's not an attractive destination, it's got to be something front office wise or coaching staff wise. But even still, I could see an argument made for why it might not be an attractive destination, but I don't think there's enough evidence to definitively say that is the case, just for the fact they're not a losing team. They've been in the playoffs for how many years now?
Yeah, every year Brendan Boer's been there. I think the last 5 or 6 years they've made the playoffs every year.
Right. So they're not an awful team, bottom of the barrel team. They're in it every year. They're trying to win the cup every year. So I don't personally think it's not an attractive destination. It just sometimes it doesn't work out.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think so either. I will say for Rod Brindamore, his coaching style kind of maybe hinders the offense a little bit. He's definitely a very defensively minded coach.
Mm-hmm.
Shot suppression, don't give away the puck. I think for Rantanen, just his play style didn't fit that. Him and McKinnon, they'd have the puck, they'd try to go beast mode, skirt around the defense, make plays, and I just don't think it worked out for Mikko in that system.
No.
But yeah, an NHL superstar getting traded twice in the same deadline is unheard of.
Yeah, wild.
So moving on to a few other teams that we're going to talk about as a whole with some of the standings updates. For the Atlantic Division, it's going to be a bloodbath. The Panthers, Maple Leafs, Lightning, they all loaded up on rentals, traded away a lot of capital. Panthers got Seth Jones, a good second pair defenseman who still has like 3 or 4 years left on his contract. Just crazy. The Panthers right now currently lead the division, but they are tied in points with the Maple Leafs 41, 24, and 3 for 85 points. And the Leafs actually have the same exact record at 41, 24, and 3.
Wow.
The Panthers, though, have lost 2 in a row. They're still 7-3-0 in their last 10. The Maple Leafs have won 2, or 5-4-1 in their last 10. And as we mentioned, the Lightning are third. And right now in the wild card, crazy. So for the Atlantic only, you have the Ottawa Senators, the Montreal Canadiens, the Detroit Red Wings, and still hanging on the Boston Bruins, all fighting for playoff spots.
It is definitely coming down to the wire.
Yeah. For Ottawa, they made some good moves as well. I think they could be a really dangerous team come playoff time.
A little dark horse, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Their moves that they made were no slouch. However, though, for Detroit and Montreal, they didn't do a whole lot, and I didn't like that for Detroit because they're trying to make the playoffs, but for Montreal, they weren't really expected to be in this position. So I could understand, more of them not doing anything and kind of wanting to be like, let's just see how it goes. And the Bruins selling, was the right move. You have to recuperate some of that draft capital. So
yeah,
it was the right move, but obviously some of the moves we're not happy with.
Can say that again.
Yeah. So right now in the division, the Senators are fourth, and the Canadiens are fifth. They hold the last 2 playoff spots, 77 and 73 points, and the Red Wings are 3 points back with 70 points, and then the Bruins are 4 points back with 69 points. So for the Metro division, staying in the East, pretty much the whole division kind of stood pat, not gonna lie. For New Jersey, they lost Jack Hughes to injury. He's going to be out for the season.
Unfortunately.
Just so brutal. Had to have shoulder surgery. And also their top defenseman, Dougie Hamilton, is going to be out for the year as well. So for them, I don't expect them to make it very far in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I don't think really anybody expects them to. So might just be, we'll see what happens and then, give it another run in the next season. For Carolina, still a good team, like we said, so I expect them to make a run for it. And for Washington, they've had just such a turnaround.
Incredible turnaround.
That, they don't need to go for it.
No.
They have a bunch of young players. They have prospects coming up. They don't have to be all in. But this is great news for Ovechkin because, he has the chance to maybe win himself that second Stanley Cup.
And a little record?
Yeah, just the all-time NHL goals record set by the great one himself, Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, just that.
Yeah, that's not a big deal. He is only... this guy is a fucking animal, right? Ovechkin. He's 39 years old.
Old ass.
He's 8 goals away from breaking the record and still has 13 or 15 so games played still. And he was out 4 weeks with a broken leg.
I think you could say he's pretty fucking good.
Yeah. Honestly, I will say this now. I don't think anybody's going to come close to the record again for Ovechkin.
We'll see. There's McJesus might have something to say about that at the end of his career,
bum.
but
Nah, he's a bum.
Right.
He just passes the puck. No, I'm kidding.
Okay,
but it's such an impressive feat. I really don't think people realize how much of a big deal this is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Any one of Wayne Gretzky's records, on the verge of being broken, is huge.
Yeah.
He's called the great one for a reason.
An absolutely massive deal.
Also, Ovechkin reaches 1,600 points in this season. He becomes the 11th player in NHL history to do so.
Big congrats to
on
him.
that. So with that top 3, the Capitals are first place by far. 12 points clear of second place. So they are going to win the Eastern Conference.
I think they're fine.
Hurricanes are second with 86 points, and the Devils are third with 80 points. And the Rangers, Islanders, and Columbus are all in the hunt for those final wildcard spots, occupied by Ottawa and Montreal.
Coming down to the wire, like we said.
Yep. Rangers are 1 point back with 72 points, and the Islanders and Blue Jackets are tied in points, both 3 points back with 70 points.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so yeah, it is. Oh my God, it's going to be such an exciting race down the stretch.
Yeah, there's a few weeks left.
All right, and finally, the Western Conference. We'll try to breeze by here real quick. The Jets, same as the Capitals, are way clear of second place.
Yeah.
They are 11 points ahead of the Dallas Stars with 98 points.
Do they choke again in the playoffs? That's the question.
No, really. I mean, that is the question. They didn't do a whole lot during the deadline. They traded a second-round pick for a bottom 6 forward, a fourth liner. So that shows you how much of a seller's market it was.
Yeah.
Crazy that happened. But yeah, for Winnipeg, just need to prove in the playoffs. The Dallas Stars, like we said, swung for the fences. They are all in. Even before the Randon trade, they were making deals. 89 points in second. The Colorado Avalanche have been really hot as of late. 8-1-1 in their last 10. They have 85 points, and they are all in. They trade away a lot of pieces for players. So for Coyle, for Brock Nelson, and a few others. So they are trying to make a deep run. And the Minnesota Wild, while they do have that wild card spot, they are injured to heck right now. Their star forward, Kirill Kaprizov, is still out. They acquired a few small depth pieces, but it's going to be tough for them to make any sort of run. And I just want to say, Rantanen, because he played for the Avalanche previously, our first round matchup might be the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche.
That'd be wild.
One of those teams is going home.
Yeah.
That is fucking great. That might be the series of the playoffs.
It could be.
Yeah. So Wild there. The Wild, have 83 points. And then in the Pacific, the Golden Knights, who didn't do a lot, but as we all know, they trade away their first round picks every year.
Yeah.
So they don't have a lot to trade, but they still lead the division with 86 points. The Oilers are 2 points back at 84 points. They are all in because they are trying to make, their run back to the Stanley Cup final. Please do. Get McDavid's first cup. Please. The LA Kings are third at 81 points, and the Vancouver Canucks have 75 points. They do hold that wild card spot, and the Flames are right behind them, 2 points back at 73 points. And in the Central, the St. Louis Blues are also in the hunt at 75 points, and Utah is right there too, 71 points in their first inaugural season.
Believe it or not.
So all those teams also didn't do a whole lot. I don't think they needed to. They're not in the position to be all in. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But in the East and the West, we got a wild card race for the ages.
Yeah, I agree. And with only a few weeks left, the pressure is just going to amp up every day that passes.
Yeah. So that does it for the NHL. This might be the last standings update that we do until the playoffs. Give our playoff previews and playoff brackets. So get excited, people, because it's the same in basketball. It's getting down to the wire here. It is a great time to be a sports fan.
The playoffs are right around the corner.
So yeah, that's going to do it for the NHL. Moving on to the NFL. Thank you, Bengals, for finally some good news. Actually fucking doing something with yourselves. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are staying together, folks. They signed 4-year extensions with the Bengals. And before I hear all the criticism, I'm just happy that this trio gets to perform for the next few years. For Chase, Bengals kept their promise. They made him the highest paid non quarterback in NFL history. 4-year contract, $161 million. So just right above that threshold.
Yep.
I think it deserves every dollar.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Coming off of a Triple Crown winning season, one of the best that we have seen in a long time. Yeah, just awesome. And then T. Higgins right behind him, who arguably might be a number one on any other team.
Mm-hmm.
He gets a 4-year, $115 million extension. I'm really happy for him. Definitely. I do think, though, this contract does come with risk because in the last 2 years, Higgins has only played in 40% of regular season games.
Yeah, and now he's the highest paid wide receiver 2 in all the NFL.
Yep. Highest paid wide receiver duo in NFL history. And as of next year, between Burrow, Higgins, and Chase, the Bengals will have 47% of their total salary cap
in just 3 players.
in 3 players.
So that gets to the discussion. The internet has been ablaze with or after the Chase and Higgins signing. I agree with you. Bengals finally did it. They did the right thing. But now they don't have a defense, is what everybody is saying. We've talked about this, off air a lot. I am happy they did it. Like, they deserve it. It's something they needed to do. But they waited too long. They waited a whole year when they didn't have to. And now their offense should still be good as long as their O-line protects Joe Burrow, I think. But now they have to score 40 fucking points a game just to beat their opponents. Potentially, we'll see how the new defensive coordinator goes. Maybe he will be the reason why their defense is not so porous. However, I'd be happy but nervous.
It's an interesting way, let's say, to build a team. It's a very interesting way.
Yeah.
Kelsey even said, Travis Kelsey said, that's wild. And he's like, I don't hate the decision at all. It's just never been done before.
Right. Yeah. Three players taking 47% of your cap
on
is
offense.
Crazy. Yeah, it's crazy by itself. But the fact that they're all offensive players is mind-boggling. That has not been done before, clearly. So I would just be nervous as a Bengals fan, like, oh my God, we finally did it. Our offense should be secure. Also got Gesicki back, of course. But, man, that defense better draft well, better make some trades that need to be made, and your defensive coordinator better be good. Because it's going to be hard to have a bad defense and have to win by scoring 40-plus points a game.
No, absolutely. All the criticism that we have seen is warranted. Like, absolutely warranted. I totally agree with everything. If we hadn't waited a year, we probably could have saved around, I'd say, $15 million in the salary cap. Maybe the right decision would have been to pay Chase, unfortunately let Higgins walk, and use the rest of that money to fix up, the roster elsewhere. But it's done. Like, it's done. It's over with. They're not screwing over Higgins anymore with the franchise tag, holding on to him, which I'm very happy about. Even though Higgins has been injured a lot and he's going to get hurt, that's just how it's been. The chemistry that these three have is undeniable.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure.
they like I wouldn't even say Higgins is a wide receiver too. Like we basically have two wide receiver ones
Yeah,
that can play at a high level.
100%.
Burrow, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I would say one of the best pure passing quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah,
In the pocket. Um, I'm and like the friendship they have. Like it really makes me happy that these three get to stick around and play together.
yeah, I agree. And ownership finally paid their people.
Yeah.
All we can do now is wait and see.
Yeah.
Just got to see how that defense holds up. That's all.
Yeah. I was a little frustrated because, 1 week it was ownership is cheap and they don't pay any of their players. And then we hand out these massive extensions.
Yeah.
And then now it's, oh, what an overpay. Like, this is not how you build a team. They're going to have to score 40-plus points a game. They're not going to have any defense, which, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a possibility. But we got them for 4 years. There's plenty of time. We still got the draft. I don't want to I'm not going to make like a direct comparison to the Eagles, but a lot of the pieces they drafted on defense this past year were key contributors to them winning the Super Bowl.
Correct.
and finding bargain contracts.
Speaking of the Eagles, they have I don't know, what is it, 14 picks in the first 2 rounds of the next 2 drafts?
Oh, yeah.
Something like that. So
that's wild.
Howie Roseman's a genius.
They're still going to be around for years.
Howie Roseman's a genius, but that's just want to throw that in. But anyway.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that because I saw when you shared that the other day that's wild. I did not know that.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That's crazy. So yeah, still the draft can still, if we draft well and defense and we draft well, we could have players on rookie contracts. Defensive coordinator does really well. Al Golden will be golden. So yeah, all in all, I'm so happy with the move. I did not have a lot to cheer about this past year as a Bengals fan.
Nope.
So this is a win. And I'm going to enjoy every moment of it. And now I have something to look forward to next season. I'm not sitting here saying, great, so we haven't signed anybody. I don't even have any faith we're going to make the playoffs. Like, this team is horrible. Ownership's horrible. Burrow, get out of Dodge. No. I finally say, yes, I get to watch these players next year, and that's a win in my book.
Yeah. All we can do is wait and see. It's a long off season, longest in all professional sports. So a lot of time
can happen.
A lot can happen. A lot of time to revel in the success in these signings. So we'll see. Another signing though this week. Sorry, but also this year, 2025.
I think a big signing too.
Yeah,
as well.
Former Rams superstar wide receiver, Triple Crown winner himself, Cooper Kupp, signs with the Seattle Seahawks. And a pretty big move, pretty big pickup for the Seahawks as well. So, is this the missing piece for them to get back to the playoffs next year?
Yeah, I mean, they had a huge turnaround. They go out and sign Sam Darnold, like we've mentioned in previous episodes. They have Jackson Smith. They have Cooper Kupp now. I think for the Seahawks, they still want to contend. They still want to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure.
These moves definitely prove that.
For sure.
However, I think it's going to take a lot for Sam Darnold to keep his momentum up. What I'm saying is they're relying on a lot of things to kind of go their way. So Sam Darnold has to keep up what he did in Minnesota. Cooper Kupp has to bounce back from a down year in LA. And they still have to have their pieces like Kenneth Walker on the run game and Zach Charbonnet and Jackson Smith to continue producing, which I think is possible. I definitely think that they could make the playoffs this year, and I think I would like to see that. I'd like to see them make the playoffs.
Yeah, well, them releasing Tyler Lockett, who still has not been signed, and DK Metcalf was, or trading away DK, was definitely big losses, but I would say the best replacement for one of them, because they didn't replace both, obviously, but one of them was Cooper Kupp. He's the best available out there by far. Like, it's not even close. So this was probably the best move they could have made to help their receiving core.
I think it was really cool too for Cooper Kupp to say, like, you know what, I've already like won a championship. I'm not saying like the Seahawks couldn't win another Super Bowl, but I don't view them on like that same level.
Yeah.
As like Super Bowl contenders, like
No.
just a playoff contender. So I thought that was really cool for Kupp to say, like, you know, I've already won a championship. I want to go to like another team, you know, a new chapter, and, you know, see what I can do. Like, try to help them out in any way I can. I think it's really cool, like, when a player does that. They don't really necessarily think about chasing like the next ring or the next trophy.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll just have to. I mean, that's all we can do is just wait and see, because the season
It's
is
a long 8 months.
Yeah, the season is far away. But any conspiracy theory fans out there and people that believe in a prophecy, it looks like it's not going to come true, because Aaron Rodgers,
Former Super Bowl champion Aaron Rodgers,
four-time
best
MVP.
Yeah, one of the best
4-time
quarterbacks we have ever seen play the game.
The Vikings don't want him.
Nope.
Reportedly, the Vikings are out, going to stick with J.J. McCarthy, which I think is the right move.
Apparently, too, the Vikings have been receiving a lot of trade inquiries on McCarthy,
which is wild,
which I found,
because he's yet to start a game.
I found interesting. Like, if
That's
they
really
they
crazy.
got an offer that they couldn't refuse, you know,
Maybe, yeah.
maybe it would take that.
But Rodgers doesn't look like he's going to be a Minnesota Viking. He is still, just like last year and the year prior, has not made any announcements about his future. He usually takes a long time. And, I mean, he's a Super Bowl champion, 4-time MVP. He deserves to do whatever the hell he wants and make whatever decision he wants when he wants to make it.
Yeah, if he wants to continue playing, like, it's totally up to him. Like, if he wants to continue playing, he'll play. If not, what a hell of a career. I mean, for sure. So
exactly.
So yeah, that's the update on Aaron Rodgers. The front runners are still the Steelers and the Giants. So the last question before we take our break is, who do you think is a better fit?
Pretty obvious. The Steelers are the better fit. They have arguably one of the greatest coaches currently in the NFL in Mike Tomlin. They have the offense around him. Of course, they have the defense, TJ Watt. But
yeah, he'd be playing too with Pickens and Metcalf.
Yeah, you want to go back to New York, back to the same building, MetLife Stadium,
where you tore your Achilles.
Yeah, and did not end well with the Jets, just to play for the other team, the other New Jersey team, because let's be real, they play in fucking New Jersey. The Giants, who have no hope for the future, I don't think so. So
no.
If he does decide to play, I would say the Steelers are probably the best fit for him.
Yeah, they definitely give him the best chance to win.
Correct.
If he wants.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to do it for the NFL and the NHL. We're going to go ahead and take our break, and we will be back after these messages or music. It's just going to be music. We're not sponsored or advertised in any way.
Not yet.
That's right. So we will see you in just a couple minutes.
Welcome back after our 4-day break. We were gone for 4 days. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a couple minutes. I don't know what I was saying.
Yeah. No, we're glad to be back. We had to just relax for a second, use the bathroom.
The break's really important for us.
Yes, it is. But we still have some things to discuss. March Madness, baseball, right around the corner, everybody. And NASCAR, of course, a little weekly update, and then to end it was Daredevil. But first, March Madness is going on. We do know.
We did not make our brackets.
Exactly. We did not make a bracket. It's been a little crazy, last month. So we apologize for anyone that was looking forward to brackets. However, we are keeping up with it. There's so many games we can't obviously talk about all of them or even most of them, but really mainly going to focus on any huge upsets like what just happened as of this recording a couple hours ago.
Yeah, who was that? Who broke everyone's brackets?
Well, now there is officially, as of this recording, now this could all change when you are listening to this episode, but as of this recording, there are only 5.7% of 24 million brackets created that are still perfect. A little school that, I've never heard of before, so probably pretty small. McNeese. Have no idea what conference they're even in, but they did upset Clemson in the SEC pretty bad.
Yeah, the number 5 seed Clemson loses to McNeese State 67-69.
Very close game, as a lot of March Madness games are. But the tournament is one of the craziest sporting events every single year. Even if you're not a basketball fan or don't follow college hoops like the two of us, it's still a wild time. And that's just the men's bracket. The women's bracket is also about to start.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we just want to give a quick mention. Unfortunately, like we said, weren't on time to make our brackets, but we will be keeping up with the tournament going forward.
That is right. Moving on to Major League Baseball.
That's right. And Shay here went to a little spring training game, didn't he?
No, I didn't. That was a lie.
Oh,
it was all a lie because this is all a simulation. No, I'm just kidding. I did.
That's what Keanu Reeves told.
Yeah. I did go to a spring training game. Went to the closest one. Well, I don't know if it might be the closest or it might be the second closest. Regardless, it doesn't matter. Saw the Braves taking on, my Red Sox. Unfortunately for me, it was a split squad that day. And all the stars went to the other game that was playing. So I didn't know a single person on my team that I went to go see. But we did win, which is cool. Spring training doesn't really matter, but we did win. It was kind of boring. Only 2-1. No home runs at all. The only exciting thing was there was a double. So kind of a boring game. A pitcher's duel of pitchers that we did not know. But the weather was perfect. Breezy, 70 degrees, slightest chill in the air, nothing but sunshine. And for the first time ever, I sat literally 4 rows behind home plate.
That's really cool.
And it was,
no matter what.
If you think that throwing a baseball is easy and hitting a baseball is easy, sit behind home plate, because the speed that you see on TV compared to sitting behind home plate, the speed is wow. The movement, though, on breaking pitches and curveballs, oh my God. Wow.
These guys, when they're behind the diamond, have to make have to see the ball, anticipate the pitch, make a decision, swing within less than a blink of an eye.
Yeah, you literally have to, if you're hitting, have to decide if you're swinging or not before the pitch even comes out of the pitcher's hand, which is wild. That's why oftentimes people say hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in all of sports. So it was a great day. A little boring of a game, but it's spring training. It's fine. But that was not the main thing this past week because the regular season did officially start.
That's right. We went overseas to the Tokyo series.
Wait, what?
Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Dodgers take on the Chicago Cubs in the Tokyo series. They played, 2 games?
2 games in the famous Tokyo Dome that was jam-packed for pretty much one guy, Shohei Ohtani, who did homer. He did have a homer to start the year. Dodgers swept the Cubs pretty easily, and they are 2 games into their quest of going 162-0. So it's still alive.
Put them on watch. Yeah, but what a great turnout. If anybody doesn't know, baseball is huge in Japan.
Yeah, it was something like when in the World Series last year, like over a third of their entire country watched the World Series, which holy shit.
Yeah, it's basically like the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Them.
Just
on
crazy.
That level.
Last thing about baseball before we move on, we might have a little something coming out next week about, our season predictions. And to give you a little preview, we're going to discuss our teams here real quick. Jairus, I'm going to let you go first because I feel like it's not going to be the best, but maybe I'll be surprised.
No. So I don't think we actually talked about this, but the Rays have finally decided that they are not moving on with the new stadium in St. Petersburg. They are going to spend over $50 million to repair Tropicana Field and play there for the foreseeable future. Fucking sell the team. This is embarrassing.
The reports are that the commissioner of the MLB, Rob Manfred, and some of the owners of the other teams are pressing for the Rays owner to sell the team. Will that happen? I don't know. But all signs are kind of pointing, we're going to move the Rays out of Tampa.
Yeah. And like there's a lot of the commissioner, I think, came out and said it. Like they don't want to lose that market. So people suggested, obviously Ybor City, which is across the river from Tampa. People have said move them to Orlando, like anywhere in between Tampa and Orlando. Or maybe, even give Montreal their team back. They probably want no part of
it. Yeah, but how do you think the Rays are going to do this year, Jairus?
Well, besides trying to figure out where they're going to play,
also one addition to everything we just said. The Rays are going to be playing in the Yankee spring training stadium for the whole year for their home games, right?
Yeah.
That stadium seats just over 11,000 people. They haven't even sold out opening day.
Yep.
Meanwhile, every single other franchise will sell out opening day.
Yeah, if they have an upper deck at the Yankees spring training facility, they're probably not even going to be full. They'll probably be tarped off, just like Tropicana Field.
It's just not a good look.
Yeah, if you say every other franchise going to be sold out opening day,
yeah,
that includes the fucking White Sox, who finished with the worst record we have ever seen.
Correct.
And they fucking sold out. And not the Rays. What are we doing?
Anyway, how do you think the Rays are going to do this year?
Well, for the Rays, they obviously sold everyone at the deadline last year.
Yep.
They have a lot of good prospects. They're ranked in the top 10 when it comes to prospect pools in the MLB. Um, I don't see us making the playoffs this year. I'm just going to say that outright. But as long as we develop the talent, we'll be fine. But, within 3 to 4 years, they're just going to be traded to other teams. So, all right. How are the Red Sox going to do? That's all I got to say about them.
The Red Sox, I'm happy with their offseason acquisitions. Really bolstered up their pitching staff, pitching rotation. And our farm system is actually ranked the best in all of baseball. So we have a lot of prospects. But the bad side to that is we have a lot of prospects with nowhere to put them. So there's a lot a lot that needs to happen still, but I'm very happy with our acquisitions. Even Alex Bregman coming in, huge piece from the Astros. Love that. I was not optimistic last year. I'm kind of like scarily optimistic this year. I think, especially because Garrett Cole is down for the Yankees and the pitching market is empty, so there's no one to replace him right now. And they lost Giancarlo Stanton for the whole year due to injury, which is a massive offensive powerhouse blow. I honestly think it's going to be the AL East is going to be a race between the Orioles and the Red Sox, which is
so you
pretty
see,
shocking.
Yeah, so you see the Red Sox bouncing back.
I do. And until the Blue Jays prove me wrong, I'm not going to count them because everyone said they were going to be really good last year and then they shit the bed. So,
yeah. Do you think it's a possibility that the Yankees could miss the playoffs?
It's possible. I think it's more possible than last year for sure. And, they got to the World Series, obviously. But if I were a Yankees fan, which thank God I'm not, I would be very nervous, very, very nervous for this upcoming season.
Yeah. I guess the only other things to talk about is the LA Dodgers, the defending champions. Are they going to finish first in their division again? Are they going to go back to back? I don't think that should be a hard answer.
No, I think it's pretty easy to say yes and yes.
Yeah. Which team too do you think in the MLB that could like really surprise people? Like just come out of the woodwork out of nowhere. Maybe somebody that made the playoffs, maybe wins their division, goes on a long run.
But besides the Red Sox, because and I'm not being biased here, that would be a genuine surprise for people if they won the AL East and made it into the playoffs or made a deep run into the playoffs. That would be a very big surprise. Besides Boston, I think the Mets really showed with getting Juan Soto that they are all in to, because they still have a great team around Juan Soto too. Especially the momentum they made last year, they're all in to try to get to the World Series. I hope the Phillies stop them. I hope the Phillies bounce back after a disappointing playoff exit. But yeah, I would say the Mets could definitely make some shocks around the league.
Yeah. And also the most hardest questions, can the White Sox finish at a 500 record, and can the Oakland Athletics spend some money?
The White Sox, I don't think they're going to be as bad as last year. That would be really, really hard to replicate. But anything's possible. But no, I think they're going to be better. I don't think they're making the playoffs, so I don't think they'll get to 500. But I think they'll be better. And the A's, they're playing at some college for the next couple years till their stadium in Vegas gets built, and
it's so sad. It's like watching a corpse like rot.
Hey, maybe the Rays will get moved to Oakland.
So you can have the Las Vegas A's
Yep.
and the Oakland Rays. But yeah, those are some of our predictions. I personally think the Mariners can bounce back in a big way. They had the driver's seat in their division and they lost it. They ended up actually missing the playoffs.
Yeah, they did.
So I think they can bounce back. They have a good team. And yeah, obviously the White Sox are not going to be as bad as last year. That's a low. So there's nowhere else to go but up.
Very hopeful. That is true.
So yeah, there's some of our MLB predictions, and look out for our MLB full standings predictions video coming to a YouTube channel near you. Subscribe to Just Saying.
Because opening day is so close.
And this year, like, I never really followed baseball. I watched, a little bit last year, obviously the playoffs, but like this year, I'm actually like really excited for baseball. Like, I'm really gonna try to go out of my way to watch a few games here and there, and I'm gonna really try to keep up with it, and learn pretty good where everyone is and all that. So
hey, race tickets are probably gonna be dirt cheap.
Yeah. I mean, I'll still go to the baseball game, like the one that we went to last year. I really
It was great.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
I think baseball is just a great experience.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. Getting down the wire here, we're gonna move on to a little bit of NASCAR, turning left. There's a wreck on the back stretch, because that might, to some people, that's the only exciting part of the race. And yeah, we have a new Cup Series winner.
That's right, Josh Berry, who I think has been due, because he's been up in the front all year this year, and he had a great finish last year. Now with the Woods brothers, hey, he finally got it done.
That's right. His first Cup Series win at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and that's also the Wood brothers' 100th team win.
Yeah, congrats to a legendary and historic team, and Barry's in the playoffs. There you go.
That's right. Yeah, with the win, he clinches a spot, and usually with a win, you're pretty locked in, but definitely that could be up in the air for sure, depending on like how many different drivers win races.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But after Ross Chastain secured the pole on Saturday, Christopher Bell ended up finishing 12th in his 4P bid, so that comes to an end. Great run, though, by him. With 3 wins, he's pretty much locked to make the playoffs.
Yeah, and all the Hendrick Motorsports drivers finished in the top 10, so good team day there.
Yeah, there you go. So the next race is obviously this Sunday. It's the Straight Talk Wireless 400 at good old Homestead Miami Speedway.
That's right.
So that's it for NASCAR.
That's right. Moving on to our final piece in this episode.
Finally, some Marvel stuff to talk about for Marvel fans out there. Honestly, I mean, personally for me, I haven't been keeping up too much. I want to change that. So the most recent show to come out, Daredevil Born Again.
That directly affects the MCU.
Yes, I have watched all 4 episodes, but somebody did not watch the 4th episode.
That's right. I had planned to watch it at work today on my lunch break, but
so who's not keeping up?
Guess who got screwed over and did get a lunch break? This guy. So we will discuss episode 4 next week. In next week's episode, I will do my best to
not spoil it
right now. Yeah, please. Or this podcast will end abruptly with loud banging and loud noises. Loud noises. So anyway, yes, Daredevil Born Again is here. A lot of people that watched the Netflix Daredevil series, which was pretty peak, we're very excited, especially to see what Kevin Feige will do with this character, because he did say it's going to be like the Netflix show. It's going to be graphic. It's going to be gritty. Disney's not going to get their hands all meddled in it and ruin it. So people were very excited for it. And after 3 episodes, because we're only talking about the first 3 episodes, I can say, in my personal opinion, oh hell yeah, it is everything so far that people have wanted since the Netflix series, and I think it's only going to get better with the teases that it was setting up at the end of episode 3. I'm not talking about 4 because I've tried to stay off of social media or at least fly through the little spoilers that are out there. So, wow. I'm just glad it's back. And the way it opened, the way the series opened, holy shit. Holy shit.
It was definitely a shocker for sure.
Yeah, everybody coming back. Foggy. Oh my god.
We really have to start writing these names down.
I know.
You keep saying
I
it
know.
over and over and over again.
Foggy, Matt Murdock, obviously Daredevil himself, and whatever the Paige, I think is her name. At the bar, Josie's bar in Hell's Kitchen, discussing lawyer stuff, because Matt Murdock is a lawyer. And shit turns sideways when Bullseye shows up and starts killing people. And oh my god.
It was a fucking massacre.
It was graphic. Like, he literally just started shooting random people, killing everybody. And I got to give credit to Disney to let that happen. Like, okay, this is legit. Okay, I see you. Yeah, wild. Matt Murdock puts on the Daredevil suit, and they have a great fight scene, of course. And
how many knives can you put in a guy?
Oh my god, dude, it was.
Oh my goodness.
He was able to fight through all that just through pure will and determination to stop Bullseye from killing other people. But unfortunately, it all came to an end because Foggy was one of the people killed. And Murdock threw Bullseye off the roof, trying to kill him.
He survived.
He did survive. Daredevil was also found out by the police chief or detective that was there, because he took off his mask and threw his mask away, basically giving up the vigilante life. Then it goes on to a year later. Matt Murdock has made a new law firm with whoever. I don't remember her name either. But she's not as important. But he's very successful. They're doing great. And things start to go wrong when a certain pretty major ground level villain, decides out of the blue to come back, run for mayor, and win mayor of New York City.
Yeah. The Kingpin.
That's right.
Is now in control.
Wilson Fisk himself. People are just fucking idiots. He's a mastermind criminal, and
not to get political or anything, but does this have any correlation to a certain election that
there's some serious parallels going on? That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, Kingpin takes over as mayor of New York City. He tries to give off the persona that he's a changed man, and that life, he's not part of that criminal enterprise anymore. Even though his wife is well in control of the criminal enterprise, but they're not seeing eye to eye. They have to go to couples therapy, which Matt Murdock is dating the therapist, which...
It was crazy when I saw that.
That's a little interesting.
Giving Kingpin and Vanessa their therapy.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely going to come back to bite them too, by Daredevil. Now we're all waiting to see, okay, when is Daredevil going to show up? Because it's just Matt Murdock, the lawyer, which is fine. They have a huge trial because Murdoch defends, because he's a public defender, the White Tiger, and he's successful after a very good trial, lengthy trial. He's able to convince a jury that he did not kill a New York City cop, which would be extremely difficult to pull off. Like to say he didn't do it.
Yeah, and after revealing too that he was the White Tiger,
yes,
which nobody was expecting, obviously.
No, for sure. And we're breezing through this here, but after the trial, the White Tiger says he's still going to hold up the mantle because he wants to protect his city. It was a calling. He didn't choose it; it chose him, which is, I think, planting the seed in Matt Murdock's mind for Daredevil. But unfortunately,
shocking twist.
Unfortunately, he was killed by not the Punisher, that I do know, but some kind of Punisher gang, Punisher Corps, whatever, which will lead into episode 4 because the Punisher does come back. I don't know what happens or what is said, and we're not going to discuss that.
So in episode 4.
But no, then the episode 3 ends with technically a post-credit scene, I guess, even though it was just audio with the White Tiger talking about this beach in Puerto Rico where there are frogs that have this certain call that say their name, and all the tourists find it really annoying, but the locals find it very mystical and a lot of power and beautiful. And it was a very nice ending to the episode, just kind of tugged at the heartstrings a little bit. And also, the actor that did play the White Tiger passed away due to cancer. So that was also very sad. And I personally think it's very good so far. I can't wait to watch episode 4 hopefully soon before next week's episode. And I really want to see where this goes, especially with Kingpin being in control of New York City, because that has implications for Spider-Man, for the Avengers, for everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the show's great. It's definitely, for me, like, kind of dragged, I guess, a little bit. So obviously when White Tiger gets murdered, like, that was not like the main, like, that was kind of a side thing, right? That's not like the main
Correct
part of the series.
Correct.
So for me right now, like, it's a lot of exhibition. So, you know, I was like, you know, I kind of want to see a little more action, yeah, but you know, like, it's coming.
Yeah, and you didn't watch the Netflix series, so you are missing the context, right? Or some of the context, which is okay. But it's just hang in there.
It's cool though. Like, I was gonna lead into like that. I think the series is cool because it feels like something that we've needed for a while. Just a grounded, just within one part of the world, New York City.
Correct.
Like, everyday crime fighting, everyday. You know, this is a guy, Matt Murdock, that gave up being a vigilante, wanted to put his entire trust in the system, and now that system has been just completely flipped upside down.
Yeah,
exactly. So now the question is, what do you do now when the system has failed?
That's right.
Justice has to be served somehow.
That's right.
I think it's actually really good, even though I'm, you know, thinking, okay, this is taking a little while to get going. But like I said, you know it's coming.
Definitely.
So I think it's really good. I really appreciate, like, a lot of the shots of, like, New York City, the environment.
Agreed.
Like, scenes where there's, like, just music going.
It feels like New York.
Yeah. I really like that. I really do. And then, like, the news reporting, the BB
report
news that's going on, I think that's cool too, because it feels like you're actually
Yeah.
a citizen, like on the streets.
Right. Yeah. Agreed.
So for me, like it's really immersive, and I think it's great. I really like Daredevil as a character. He's like very nice, like always willing to do the right thing. Like he's a gentleman, but Daredevil like dishes out justice.
Yeah.
And,
once he gives into the violence, oh boy.
Yeah. So great series so far. I'm really excited to see episode 5 for me.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. But yeah. I don't think there's really much else I have to say on Daredevil. But that opening credits scene with the Daredevil statue
Oh yeah.
was fantastic.
Gorgeous.
Like, to me, it was like this guy's broken, and we're trying to put it all back together.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which was great.
There. He, especially after Foggy died, just shoving that part of him away and not giving into the violence. It's just building up.
Yeah.
And building up.
Yep.
Like once he gets going, he's not going to be able to stop. It's going to be pretty bad.
Yeah. So I'm really excited, but I think that's going to do it.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for listening. Obviously, this is a longer one, but a great episode. We are glad to be back again. Like we've said, we are planning to be more consistent every week, and we are so excited to be here doing this. We love it. Thank you for listening, following along, following our socials. We're being way more active on that for sure. Thank you for subscribing. Again, Day Early Access. Thank you to our Spotify listeners, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, wherever else you listen.
We all love you.
We
you
love you
gotta get on YouTube because
Agreed.
We're putting out videos.
Agreed.
We would love to hear all your comments, discussions, criticisms, all that.
Correct.
It's starting to show. Like we're getting more impressions. People are seeing us more on their For You page. So thank you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
It really helps a lot, and we really appreciate it.
Exactly. Be on the lookout for the MLB standings predictions for next week and our next podcast episode. Also next week, NASCAR this weekend, more March Madness, both men's and women's bracket. NHL, NBA, we are getting close to the playoffs, people. Pay attention. And I think there's golf going on, so that's cool. Watch some golf if you want. I just can't watch it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If we have any people that want to hear us talk about golf, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
We don't have all the time in the world.
It's just boring, okay? I'll be honest. I can't watch it. But anyway, thank you.
But we got to get back on the golf course.
I love playing it, yeah. Cannot watch it for the life of me. But anyway, thank you for listening. We will see you next week. Goodbye.
On Thursday.
On Thursday.